let's get into some Nerd News Network.
Yes, some nerd news.
So the Russo Bros' latest film, Electric State, which released on Netflix, only managed to rake in 25.2 million views in like its first week. It had a budget of 320 million.
Mm-hmm.
My best guess is that it probably got less views than a bunch of Chairs did earlier today.
So, I have stats for you here.
Okay, brilliant.
The Chairs on Twitter alone has ended at the moment with 11.1 million views. So it's had basically half of the Netflix views on just Twitter.
On Twitter alone. What did the YouTube one look like? That one's got to have done something.
Let's have a look.
That had 3.2 million, but because that's a live stream, that doesn't update perfectly accurately. But still, even 3.2 puts it at 16. They were live on Instagram as well.
They've probably got close to 20 million views off just some Chairs.
There was like 100 million fucking people restreaming it on TikTok and reacting to it live. So yeah, I think 5 hours of Chairs got more views than the Russo Bros' last film they released, which is a little bit concerning.
I wonder. Obviously, I haven't seen the film. Don't know how well it's been received in like
badly.
Okay.
really badly.
My other question was going to be, how much of this is on Netflix is just struggling?
I mean, you know my opinions on a Netflix-only film. I think there have been very, very few good ones. Mm-hmm. I think there's been a couple watchable ones, and I think there's been a whole pile of shit. They've marketed the fuck out of this one compared to other Netflix original films.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time of this being written, 25 million views, they've essentially spent, what, $6 per view they got.
Yeah, I've just looked. Rotten Tomatoes has got a 16%, so yeah, that's not ideal.
Not very interesting. By the sounds of it, the concept wasn't particularly enticing. The acting wasn't great. The script was pretty weak, and no one really knows how it physically costs that much money to make.
Probably
so
marketing.
Not ideal. This is an interesting story. So Samuel L. Jackson has recorded a story, I assume from when they were working on Die Hard 2 together, in which Bruce Willis told him he needs to find a character he can keep going back to no matter what to protect himself from any box office failures. Mm-hmm. And Bruce Willis used the example of him having John McClane in the Die Hard series and Stallone always having Rocky and Rambo to rely on. Samuel L. Jackson took on the advice but forgot about it and said it only dawned on him when he got his 9-picture deal as Nick Fury that he'd finally found that character he could keep going back to. And famously, I'm not sure if he currently is in first place, but Samuel L. Jackson is always in first or second as like the highest earning box office actor of all time. Him and Scarlett Johansson literally go backwards and forwards constantly based on who released the film last. So he's either in first or second right now.
It flips around, but yeah. I mean,
really good advice from Bruce Willis in all fairness to go, if you can have a character that you can go back to and it will keep making you money, even if you release 4 bombs in a row.
And like, he got the perfect role in the Marvel stuff of being like, oh, this is the character that will very easily show up in many films.
Mm-hmm. Now this is an interesting one as well. Apple is reportedly losing $1 billion a year on their streaming platform. According to theinformation.com, this is despite them hosting critically acclaimed shows like Ted Lasso, Shrinking, and Severance. Now, I think there are 2 ways of looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
As a $1 trillion company who are focused on technology, is losing $1 billion a year while allowing artists to create genuine art, which I think some of the better Apple TV stuff does 100% fall into that category of it's genuinely art. Like Shrinking, Severance, and Ted Lasso are the 3 big shows I know if they've gotten there. They have all received insane critical acclaim. They are like me and Jenna are getting ready to do another month of Apple TV to binge watch Severance, Shrinking, rewatch Ted Lasso, and watch the new season. That's like our plan.
Yeah.
But how have they not made it profitable? And the fact that they're losing money and they're such a big company, does that end up just being them cutting it off? Or do they accept them losses and go, we're actually providing art? Because here's the thing, in an ideal world, art should lose or be able to lose money and not worry.
Yeah.
In the perfect world, you should run art in a way where everyone who needs to get paid gets paid, and you have some big rich fucker who doesn't care they're losing money because they're like, yes, but I'm supporting art, it's worth it.
Yes.
Right now, all of the rich fucks in the world are pieces of shit, and corporations never accept losing money because their shareholders will kill them.
So here's my thing. Apple TV will never have been like, look at Apple TV the same way Amazon looks at Prime Video, Twitch. It is not the product they are trying to sell. They don't care if it makes a loss. Like Amazon, their product that makes them all their money is Amazon Web Service, AWS.
Yeah.
That's all that, like, they don't care if Amazon itself or Amazon Prime or Twitch, like any of that's making a loss, as long as they are selling Amazon Web Service. That's what their funnel is. Apple's funnel is they want to get people into the Apple ecosystem. You get them onto an iPhone, then you try and get them onto an Apple Watch, an iPad, then you get them onto Macs, MacBooks. Hopefully, maybe you get them to buy an Apple TV. They want people bought into the ecosystem. So them losing money on Apple TV because they're spending it on making shows that are hopefully going to incentivize people into their ecosystem, I think they don't care. I also think, I bet most streaming services, if you actually start looking at the numbers, are probably making a loss.
Probably.
And
Do you know what I think
part
all of Apple's problem is?
Go on.
Now that I've just gone on their website to look at it, another critically acclaimed show they have that I forgot about, Slow Horses. How many fucking Emmys did that win earlier this year when we covered the Emmys? On so many. They don't buy much content.
They did at first, but I don't think they do now.
They gave up on that very quick and they're investing in content. So as a result, no one's buying Apple TV going, oh, I really want to watch Friends. Like, do you remember back in the day, everyone's like, wait, you don't have Netflix, it's £6 a month, you can watch all of Friends.
Yeah.
And like that's why Netflix was successful in the early days, because the old stuff that didn't get shown on TV constantly anymore was all on Netflix. So it's £6 a month, you could watch anything that wasn't on TV. And Apple tried to do that and failed. And now I'm looking here, and they are just investing a lot of money in making their own stuff.
Well, yeah,
and because it's their own stuff, no one cares enough to go and find it.
Well, yes and no. I think their plan, they're bargaining on, putting their chips on. We're going to make our own stuff. We're going to give it plenty of budget. We're going to really make an effort to make some great original shows, which they've succeeded at. To the point where, because it's ours, this isn't ever going to live on a different platform.
Yeah.
It's only ever going to live on Apple TV. We're going to get it. These shows are going to be so good and win so many awards that people are talking about. They have no choice but to buy Apple TV. And then that's the first step of getting them in the door to get them into the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah. I think if they accept losing money for another 3 years, which, let's be honest, Apple can afford to do, I think they'll start seeing the tide turn. Shows like Severance, Seth Rogen's new drama comedy, The Studio, has just started on there, which apparently is doing pretty well. I'd be curious to see how it does. Maybe they do just need to find a old show that people like, oh, I need to be able to access that, and just buy that as a door in for some people and then let them discover some of the other stuff. Maybe they've gone too much just investing in new content.
I mean, I'm looking now. Netflix apparently is making a profit. I found hard to believe.
They reported a profit in their last quarter after jacking up the prices again.
Prime Video is
really difficult to actually know because it's included
Yeah.
in Prime. If you buy Prime for getting next day delivery, you get
yeah.
the base version of TV.
Disney Plus has had subscriber loss, but they still turned a profit, apparently. Like, I think these ones are just scraping by profitability, but I think that's a recent thing. Like, I saw someone make a point of, for the longest time, the streaming services, all the big hitters, have all been actively been making losses, waiting for one of the other ones to figure out how to be profitable. And it started since they've started bringing ads into subscription options.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to pay more to not get ads.
Do you think that could be? Does Apple
I
have
think-
a tier like that?
I don't know. Apple TV tiers.
Da-da-da.
No.
So maybe that would be something that can turn the tide if they offer £3 a month with ads, and people are like Severance, Ted Lasso is worth £3 a month, even if I have to watch adverts.
Up the price of the one without ads.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe
they're
that's the way
also
to do
getting
it.
the ad money. Like,
Because when you, here's the thing, you know me, I hate very rich companies. I want them to burn in hell. But as long as they serve society in some way by allowing creative people to make their stuff, I'm like, you get a stay of execution.
Yeah.
That is what Apple are doing better than I think anyone right now. Like, Ben Stiller is not someone you expect to make something as dramatic and riveting as, like, Severance, but he's being allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And I just think maybe, I don't know, maybe if they can just find a couple of shows that people are willing to pay to have access to, they'll find the rest of the library and be like, well, I'm not leaving.
I think Apple's playing the long game of having enough quality shows that are award-winning that people go, oh,
What's going on over there?
Well, I'd rather have Apple TV than my Netflix subscription. Like, there's more value over here. They're playing like the long game of that, I think, and they're a big enough company that they can play that game.
Yeah.
So
no, maybe you're completely right. I think it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out long term.
Oh yeah.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, the Jason Bourne franchise is being sold to another studio. Skydance, Apple, and Netflix are apparently all interested. However, there is no evidence yet if Matt Damon will be involved in any reboots. Maybe this is what we were literally just talking about with Apple. If they can find a way to keep Matt Damon involved, maybe they can turn Jason Bourne into their thing that people care about.
Yeah, they could. They can pick up an IP. Like, imagine if Apple had picked up Bond.
Again, I would have been scared about that. I don't want Bond to exist outside of England when it comes to the creative element of it.
But like, an
IP of that scale, yeah. If they could have got hold of, I don't know, like Transformers, they go and buy the fucking Transformers IP or something.
It wouldn't surprise me, although they're not mentioned, wouldn't surprise me if Amazon is also interested. Imagine you can't tell me
they should have gone for Bourne, because they're going to turn James Bond into a Bourne style thing.
You can't tell me they wouldn't love to have both Bond and Bourne.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely would have been an interesting one for sure. Next up, Glenn Powell is apparently in discussions to star in the next
Man's doing everything.
Next Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, sorry. Just the next Chainsaw Massacre. Keep an eye out for that, ladies and gentlemen. Is he ever going to stop hopping genres? I really hope he doesn't.
I don't think he will, because he's sort of in that generation of actors that saw actors get pinned into one genre and die out when that genre was not trending. And he also saw actors that, like, he's seen like Matthew McConaughey, who took the leap to get away from rom-coms, and like it's benefited him massively to bounce between. He doesn't do a huge range of genres, but like he has done a range now because he was scared of getting pinned in that. I think it's that same mindset of like, he doesn't want to get pinned into a genre, and studios stop going, oh, what about Glenn Powell? And they go, oh, he only does that type of film.
Yeah,
Like,
I think there's a real element of that. I mean, in the Discord earlier, we were talking about Glenn Powell.
we were.
And I said, for a little while, I was a bit of a hater because it felt like he was everywhere. And he felt like I was being forced, like he was being forced down my throat. No matter what genre I looked at, he was there. And then I watched The Hitman, his film on Netflix, one of the only good Netflix films. And he's so good in that. And obviously, I'd seen him in Top Gun Maverick, and I'm like, oh, okay. And they did a press tour for one of his things. He was like, I just want to make films that excite me. It might have been. I just want to make films that excite me and I want to do. And he came across as so genuine and passionate about film. On that moment, I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, Glenn Powell, and I support you. Go out there and make your films. I will be there. Obviously, he's going to be in Running Man, which I'm over the moon excited for. And I'm very quickly becoming a Glenn Powell, I will be there no matter what type guy, which we need because it feels like Tom Cruise is like the last film star, is what people have been saying. He's the last guy whose name puts butts in seats.
Yeah, we're getting some new ones emerging, like Tom Holland,
in the last,
Timothy Chalamet.
I don't even think Tom Holland's there yet. I think if he does well in the Odyssey, he could be. But I think the only genuine three we've got that are like young are Zendaya, Glenn Powell, and Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there are any who are like, they are actors before the character they're famous for.
I get you, yeah.
So I want the three of them to have incredibly successful careers because the cinema industry needs them. Talking about Bond at Amazon, apparently David Heyman and Amy Pascal are in talks to / have taken over the development of the Bond franchise. Heyman was the developer of the Harry Potter films, and Pascal worked on the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. Very experienced producers who have made successful films. I still don't trust anyone that Amazon thinks will do what they want for the Bond franchise when the people who led the Bond franchise successfully thought they were fucking morons.
I'm glad they've got one person who understands the IP they're being trusted with in like the Harry Potter films. Like he's gonna have an understanding of like, this is a well-loved British IP. Like, he handled the Harry Potter films. Hopefully he would handle the Bond films the same way. Obviously got Pascal, who worked on the Spider-Man films. We've enjoyed them. My worry is, we've seen what Amazon does when the people they've put in charge say no to them. There's been no, like, these people could come in, could also have the same opinion about Amazon's ideas, and then we're just going to be like, oh, Jeff Bezos goes, right, get rid of them as well. They're not fitting either. Like, are they going to be more stubborn to fight against Jeff Bezos? And I doubt it.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. They might be put in a position where they're just trying to make the best of whatever they're told to make, rather than they try and develop a film around a character.
Yeah,
maybe we're being too negative here, but I feel like I try and be positive about a lot of negative shit, and I do not play when it comes to James Bond. He's my fucking boy, and I need that IP to get some respect, please.
Yeah, I don't trust Jeff Bezos to not get his ego hurt again and throw a party.
I think that's a very fair assessment. Krysten Ritter famously played Jessica Jones in the Netflix series.
Yes.
Which I always refer to them as the Netflix series. If you do want to watch them because you haven't seen them before, they are on Disney Plus now.
Yeah, that is true. They are.
So it happened at Netflix, but you now watch it on Disney Plus. It's a bit weird. Sorry if I've made that more confusing. Anyway, she's cautiously optimistic of a return as Jessica Jones, going on to say, "If they ask, I will be there."
We've heard a
I am
few
asking.
things
She
of.
didn't say who had to ask. I am asking.
I mean, we know that they've. I think at this point, of all the Defenders said that they would come back.
I don't know if anyone's heard from Finn Jones, who played Danny Rand. Has he done anything since? Did it ruin his career? It might have ruined his career. Oh,
Nah.
Finn Jones is English.
Um, it's not. It's not.
Post 2018, what has that man done? Nothing. Oh, he's in Swimming with Sharks. Don't know what that is. And Awake.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, he probably made good money.
I don't know if anyone's asked him if he'd want to come back.
But yeah, like this is another step towards potentially all the Netflix characters being.
There is a big
chance.
pull online of people going, bring Krysten Ritter and I forget the actor's name who played Luke Cage. Bring them back. They were brilliant. We want more of them. And I am in that contingent.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that she would like the idea of coming back as well. She's already in New York working on Dexter, one of the spin-offs for Dexter. Yeah. She's there. Just pull her in.
Yeah.
Like, get it done.